So we're going to do a little tutorial on how to use these different types of tools. You have tubes, you have tongs, and one of my favorites, the snake hook. Now, the snake hook, they come in a variety of different sizes, as well as different shapes and widths when we're talking about the actual hook itself. Depending on the length as well as the size of the hook, will showcase what kind of sized venomous snake or animal you're going to be using it for. I personally like a 3-foot long snake hook with a medium size. I would say maybe this is about 2 inches wide for the actual hook itself. This allows me to manipulate and use it for a wide variety of different venomous snake species. What you're using this thing for is just to give as much distance between you and that animal. And you can do that by extending the arm fully. The best way to get the best use out of your snake hook is to practice picking up different types of ropes, small strings, all sorts of stuff, and you really want to be able to really twist that wrist back and forth, because you never know when you need to get underneath, or you need to get out, or you need to switch the hook around this way, maybe bend it around. So really give it some practice, maybe swing it around a couple times, get a good feel for it. That'll really help you, especially when you're dealing with venomous animals. Now, if you're dealing with an elapid, it's always great to have 2 hooks. You're going to be able to juggle that venomous animal instead of putting your hands on the venomous animal at all. Let's move on to my second favorite, which are the tongs. These right here are tongs. Now, these are not my primary tool that I use pretty much ever. And the reason why is because a lot can go wrong in a very short amount of time. Tongs are great though, because you have absolute control. The second you clamp down and you've got that animal in the clamps, that's it. It's not going anywhere. But if you squeeze too hard, you can really hurt the spine of that animal. Or if you grab in the wrong place, you can definitely add some pressure or even lift up. You can add too much pressure on the body and the neck and the head area and really damage that animal. It's really great when you have tongs that are a little bit wider. They have more surface area so that it's not putting a whole lot of pressure on one point on the animal. So if you're working with rattlesnakes or vipers, definitely get the wider ones, the ones that have like that plastic rim and they have more surface area instead of these ones, because these are going to definitely add a lot of pressure on one solid point. The reason why I use this specific type of tong are for elapids. Those are like your mambas, your cobras. These work incredibly well, especially when I'm trying to collect venom. What I'll do is I will get the animal in the clamp, and I won't squeeze down too hard because I actually want that animal to start to back up inside the clamp. As it's backing up and retreating from the clamp, eventually I'm going to get to the head portion, and that's when I'll add additional pressure. So now I have full control of the head. Once I have full control of the head, I'll go ahead and pin, I'll release the clamp, and then I'll reach for the rest of the body so that animal cannot thrash. Down, and all that weight and pressure is right there on that neck and head portion area. Now, one thing to be aware of when we're dealing with clamps or when we're dealing with tongs, the second you grab that animal, anticipate that for sure now it does want to give you a defensive bite. Most of these venomous animals, the second you grab them, they're like, now you're gonna get it. But if you're using the hook, which is why this is my favorite tool, if you can do it in a calm manner without jolting the animal around, 9 out of 10 times you can get that animal up off the ground into a bucket that is secure or wherever you're trying to put it in without it striking, sometimes not even rattling, or even trying to evade you. So that's why the hook is definitely my absolute favorite. If you're not used to dealing with any kind of venomous snakes or snakes in general, probably want to go with the snake tong just because it'll give you a lot more security. But once again, the second you grab that animal, anticipate that now it 100% wants to give you that bite. We're going to go ahead and test it out with an actual rattlesnake I brought here today so I can show you and demonstrate how you use them. So here we have a little western diamondback rattlesnake. Probably will start rattling, especially if I start stomping my feet or getting close. Notice the animal's trying to evade. Let's say you have your hook and you're wanting to bring this animal a little bit closer. You're going to take your hook, always start here at the front, go wherever the animal is going, and notice that animal went right into my hook, and all I had to do was lift up, and then I just place it a little bit closer where I want it to be. It's as simple as that. Don't try to like jerk yourself or like smack the rattlesnake or anything like that. If it's moving in one general direction, put your hook in front, set it down, Let that animal make its way forward. Once you pass about 1/3 of the body, go ahead and lift up, but be ready. It might try to get off of the hook and you don't want it to fall down. So once again, you're gonna go here, 1/3 of the body, lift up all the way off the ground. These animals are pretty smart, so they're like, oh, I'm a little higher than I actually want to be. I'm not going to hit the floor. So let me actually stay on this hook and then make your way to whatever bucket you need to be in. Now, let's say that animal is coiled up. Let me see if I can get this guy to coil up. So now we're coiled up. If you look, you're going to see usually 2 donuts. You got 1 donut here and 2nd donut right there. I always like to go for the 2nd donut. Once again, not the 1st donut, the 2nd donut. You're gonna get your tip in just like this, squeeze all the way through, and then just lift. Notice, I didn't jerk, I went nice and smooth, and I went straight up. Do not fling straight up, because what goes up will always come down. And the last thing you want is a rattlesnake coming down right on top of you. Sometimes the animal is really big. What do you do there? When an animal is really big, go ahead and go in with your hook, lift up, and then you're going to tail. I don't really recommend this. You're going to want to try to use a 2nd hook. But if you are tailing the animal, notice I have a good hand on the tip of the tail. And I'm using the hook, and what I'm actually doing is I'm putting tension between the tail and the body. Why I'm doing this is so that animal has some stability and also cannot come back over its own body. This allows this animal to feel nice and supported, gives you a lot more control, and then most importantly, that animal's just not dangling there, especially if you got a very big, venomous animal. I don't really do this with the lapids very often. What I usually do is I have 2 hooks, and I'm gonna juggle it with 2 hooks because I really wanna keep my hands off the animal as much as possible. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at tongs next. So, we're gonna test it out now with tongs. Now, once again, remember, the second you grab this animal, anticipate that it is going to try to bite you the second it has the opportunity. That's why tongs are so long, so that you have that extra room. Longer the tong, honestly, the better, though it does get a little bit more difficult if that animal is really big. Now, when you're using the tongs, you don't want to grab all the way up here next to the head and then lift up. That's a lot of pressure on this little animal, and this animal is very heavy-bodied. Most rattlesnakes, that's not where you want to grab. Grabbing the rattlesnake, you're going to want to grab mid-body. If we're ever using tongs, we're going to use our tongs to grab mid-body. We're going to grab mid-body, and then we're just going to lift, just like this. Now, I'm not adding a whole lot of pressure. If you watch carefully, watch. If I put this animal down, notice. It can still squeeze its way out. Are you seeing that? Can you guys see how it's squeezing itself out? I'm not squeezing with all of my might. Not trying to do that. All I did was I got underneath, I squeezed until I noticed that it started to slow down, and then I lifted up. That's all you have to do. You don't have to put an incredible amount of pressure on this animal. That's not what it wants, that's not what it needs, and that's definitely how you're going to hurt this animal. You just want to add a little bit of pressure if you're using the narrow tongs. If you got more surface area, you can definitely squeeze a little bit harder, especially if you got that plastic that'll ease up on the rattlesnake. Be careful with your squeeze. This is super important. You can easily damage a rattlesnake or any kind of venomous animal with tongs. I highly recommend, once again, the hook is going to be your best option, but tongs give you the most amount of control. Just don't squeeze that animal to death. Keep it far away from your body, and if you have to grab it multiple times until you got it somewhere secure, do that. It's better to be safe than sorry. Let's move on to the tubes. These are snake tubes. They come in a variety of different sizes depending on how thick that venomous animal is. We use these a lot in order to get really close up and personal with those venomous animals without giving them the opportunity to bite us. We can get measurements, we can count the number of scales between the vent and the tail. You can take a look and see if you can find any ticks. Maybe there's a cut or a wound and you need to suture it up. Tubes are going to be your best friend. The only dangerous part about the tube is pretty much getting the animal in the tube. Because if they're in, but they're not pretty far in, and then you reach out to grab and they pull back out, your hand's right there. So you got to be careful, and we'll also demonstrate how to actually get the animal in the tube and approximately when to actually grab and then start working with that animal in that tube. Here we go. All right, now we're going to show you how to use the tubes. The tubes are definitely going to be way more dangerous. Please don't do this unless you really have to get any kind of measurements or any kind of information from your rattlesnake. First, you have to figure out what is the best tube to use. I always like to pick a bigger one and then a smaller one, and you're gonna leave them joined in together, okay? So notice I got a big one and a small one. Leave them joined in together. What you're gonna do is you're gonna slowly approach the rattlesnake as best as you can, and you're gonna try to coax it into the tube. Might be a little harder than you think. Once that animal starts to go in, once it's about a third of the way in, grab the body, make sure that it can't come back over. And notice, because I have the big one and the small one, if I want, I can remove the big one, and now it's actually even in a smaller one. And if you want, if you think this is still too big and the rattlesnake can turn around and turn back on the tube, grab another small tube, feed it through the top all the way in. Now let's say you're taking a look at the ventral scales right here at the bottom. You want to count them just to see whether you're talking about a male or a female. Maybe you want to just take a look, make sure there's no mites or parasites on the animal, or maybe you're wanting to get somewhat of an accurate measurement. You can even probe this animal to see if it's male or female. So this is how you tube a rattlesnake. Now, getting this rattlesnake out of the tube is way easier than getting it in. Once again, very important. You don't want to go right forward, especially when that rattlesnake is barely in the tube. If you can get it to go pretty far up the tube, way better. I would highly recommend at least getting that rattlesnake to get maybe a third, maybe even halfway into that tube before you commit to grabbing. Never grab from where the rattlesnake is entering in. It's gonna see your hand and it's going to try to push its way out. Your hand grab should come from behind, so it's not paying attention, and actually it sees your hand from behind and forces that rattlesnake to try to make its way deeper into the tube. Make sure you have a hand on the tube as well as the rattlesnake itself. If you notice carefully, I'm actually holding the rattlesnake with 2 fingers while I'm holding the tube. This keeps this rattlesnake from actually being able to go in the tube further or back its way out. Once you're ready to allow the rattlesnake out of the tube, just simply release the 2 fingers here and go ahead and give him some tickles. If you give him some tickles, trust me, he will come straight out of that tube. Usually you want to give him some tickles so that he goes into like a bucket or somewhere where he's secure. But now that he's here, all I have to do is either grab my snake hook or my tongs. Remember, look for that second donut or at least 1/3 of the body of the animal. Go ahead and lift up. We're gonna slowly walk him back to our little enclosure. We're gonna open the lid to where he's supposed to go back in. Notice I'm using as much distance between me and this rattlesnake. I'm going to gently and slowly put him in. And remember, we were talking about practicing with that wrist. That's where this wrist comes into play. And look at me. Twist, I'm out, closed, done. Use your tools, don't free handle. There's no need to. I can do anything anyone in this world wants to do with any venomous animal without touching it once with any part of my body. Even collecting venom from the animal. Well, actually, I guess I touch it a little bit, but I stay away from anywhere close to the head. And that's the most important part. Reduce the risk of a snake bite. Reduce the risk of any kind of free handling. Don't do it, it's not worth it. We've got a ton of tools that'll keep you safe, keep the animal safe, and most importantly, make sure that we get to enjoy these venomous animals for years to come. My name is Wildman Dan. Please get yourself a snake hook. It's worth it.